Well, hello, everybody. Um, Welcome to another. No, I don't like that one. Maybe we'll do it like that. I don't know. Maybe like that. We are going to. Let's leave it that way. Yep, for right now. Sorry, everybody. We are still working out the kinks here in our very first podcasts that we have shifted over from the Facebook Live system. Uh, thanks for tuning in. This is a very important podcast that we have for you today. Lighting is not the greatest in the world here, but we're gonna keep doing our best here. It's not about production quality. Let me back up. This is the Family Court Fraud Warrior Project. Okay. We are a registered 501c3 community watchdog organization. That's who we are. That's who we've always been. That's what all this advocacy and everything that I have done for the last 3 years has led to. The plan that has been implemented over specifically, the last 18 months has led to an explosion of membership, over 21,000. Cindy's leaning forward like that because she has a hard time reading the comments right there. We're going to go to it. Look at this. Watch this. Ready? Woo! Big page here like that. Okay, yay. Look at that. Yeah, you can see. Lovely. This is my fiance, Cindy Lynn Adams, that I'm sure are regular viewers and members and warriors more than know who she is by now. I'm sporting a good old Kristen made Warrior Project shirt. We got to work on the old collar here. Anyway, we've got a very, very serious podcast that we need to do. This is, the first time me and Cindy are speaking out, in a big way since the game has changed, since the onslaught of retaliation has taken a new level. We heard recently, Roman Brick fighting to stay out. They want to throw him into Rikers Island for 6 months for a monetary thing. Okay. In fact, all year long, all you've heard about is increasing levels of retaliation against whistleblowers, against the leaders of this movement, of this, this grassroots uprising about the lawlessness that we've all experienced in the family courts and what it means. Most recently,
to avoid the 6 months.
Yeah. What was that?
He was able to avoid the 6 months.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that Roman was able to raise the money. It doesn't change the fact that that's what they're throwing at people. All right. Not everyone is going to be able to have a following like Roman Brick and be able to raise that kind of money and avoid it. Nor should he have gone through the torture of having to freak out and live in a panic attack on how to deal with that situation. First time I've ever met Roman Brick was I saw something and he was raising money. I contributed right away. It was very early in us doing this, and before I knew anything about him, it just seemed like a horrible story. And all I've heard since that point is 1,000 more horrible stories. In fact, the way me and Cindy know each other is that we were at a phase in the Warrior Project where we needed to now, we had exploded in membership to the point where, yes, we had one method in place to help everyone. And we've said this 1,000 times, said what we're doing here is exactly the only thing that matters, is the only thing that stops them from doing what they're doing is by everybody knowing what they're doing. All right. We've had fight after fight after fight with every person trying to still work within the system. And if you're watching the page earlier today, you saw a piece my doll did, back in February in retaliation to an onslaught of flack we were taking from even our own community, confused about what they saw in the one time we were down there. And I decided to take a bold approach to just inform Judge Tiffany Yar that we will not be participating in this fraud any longer. This is a crime scene. It is not a court. Everything that we have seen, everything that we've calculated, everything that we're going to go over today is to show everybody as concisely as we can just what level of fraud is involved in her case. And that's how we became to know each other, is that we got to the point in the Warrior Project where we needed to focus on these campaign cases, right? What is a campaign case? It is one that is so egregious, okay, that it represents everyone's to the nth degree. And I'm sorry, Judge Tiffany Yar established herself as one of the worst judges that we've seen. She's on one of the 40 on the wall of shame, based on the data, based on the numbers, based on the reports coming in, based on the severity of the reports, based on what we saw out of her own mouth. Okay. Quickly I met Cindy after one 3 to 5 minute video and exit interview was our normal process in December, is when she had taken a number of steps to go public beforehand, right? Sin, it wasn't the first time that you went public when you came to the Warrior Project. Who were you working with before you came to the Warrior Project?
I had not gone public yet, but I was planning to. And at that time, I was looking into different ways to go about that and the best way to go about that.
No, I don't. I didn't phrase myself properly. It wasn't the first time you tried to get eyeballs on the court.
That is correct.
Right,
I tried to use the court system to do that. Requesting a PC, a parent coordinator, requesting a friend of the court, requesting just trying to get as many people within the court system, hoping that if other people saw what was happening, that they would, see that not everything was adding up.
Right.
I guess
And you had done your research. You had gone and seen how many. You went to court and watched court a number of times, right? Tell us about that.
And I also used a website called Court Whisperer where you can get on. But yes, days that I had hearings, I would go and just sit all day in the courtroom and listen to all the other cases going on that day, and whenever I had a chance to.
Yeah, and that was phrased in this scam. Now, let's be 100% clear. We're going to get to the end right from the beginning. All right, what Cindy's case represents, and this movement, this Family Court Fraud Warrior Project, this page that you see on Facebook here, if you take the time and you go through all of the guides, you go through all the 3 to 5 minute videos, all the exit interviews, all the bar complaints, all the principles, the core concepts, and most recently, our proof that the Bar Association is the source. Okay, this is happening in every single county, in every single state. Hundreds of thousands of people know this. And it's all been predicated on keeping it quiet. Keeping it quiet. So it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out if that you're on the other side of that. You're going to do everything in your power to keep this quiet. And especially when people like Dave Weigel and Cindy Lynn Adams, okay, decide that they can't. They can't exist in this world. They can't exist a slave. They can't exist letting their children go through this anymore. Okay. And you would work with or you'd gone to a nonprofit organization as well, right?
I had looked at several different options. Yes. But I ended up joining your project.
Okay. And just, just a little bit, before we get to the backstory, a little bit before we get into what we're here to prove here today. Like I said, let's just get to the end, right from the beginning. All right. What this Warrior Project page has proven, okay, especially now with the hard evidence of the proof that we have that the Bar Association is a criminal organization. 2%, okay, 98% void rate. You take taxpayer funds to perform regulatory duties. They get taxpayer dollars, each bar association, to be a regulator. And I know what I'm talking about. All right. And you have what our analysis shows and what their own annual reports show and prove. This is where we got all the information from. They just never, ever thought anyone would put this analysis together and take the time and spend the money to put this analysis together or have the guts to report it. Or I don't know. I'm starting to think it's been more than guts, considering what we're facing, the level of torture. Okay. And the bottom line is what we have proven here is that this is a town without a police force. And within this town without a police force, where there's no repercussions and lawyers and judges can do anything that they want, knowing they cannot get in trouble for anything, so long as they keep it quiet, right? You get these different business models that emerge. And what the Cindy Lynn Adams case is the wealth hijacking model. All right. Very quickly, it is first identify who's the abuser and who's the parent that's going to do anything to save the kids. And the entire scam is predicated on always, no matter what, finding any reason to give the kids to the abuser. Because common sense, that's where you're going to spend any amount of money to fix the problem. If you do the right thing for the kids, who's motivated to spend any money on any of these lawyers in the process or anything? So that has to occur. Everything that you see in this Cindy Lynn Adams case supports that purpose. It has to go. Okay. Then you have step two. Step two is now blaming the target, blaming the parent that has just been abused by having their child seized, making them think it's their fault, making them think that they're crazy, convincing the world that they're a criminal, making them a criminal in my case. In Cindy Lynn's case, it is the classic example of the abuse cycle of bombardment. Okay. Or people here, can we, before we get to it, we're going to get in and we're going to show the pieces that prove what we're talking about here. But where we are right now, all right, right now is the final stage of this scam. All right. Cindy had her children taken in December. Since that time period, she has been bombarded and abused with so many emotions that have nothing to do with the divorce, have nothing to do with the kids. In fact, it is astounding how little the girls' names are even mentioned. My name is mentioned. It's got to be 5 times, 10, 7 times more than the actual girls that the court is there to protect. 2, by the way, special needs 7-year-old girls that this organization has reported numerous times has done atrocious things. Okay, atrocious. But before we reiterate all of that, all right, the way the money is made, the wealth hijacking is made, is yes, you are generating massive. This is organized billing fraud. Part of it during the actual divorce is pegging both people so hard against each other that convincing them that digging up shit they did 20 years ago actually matters in this case because they get paid by the pound. All right. Then it's the judge's job to say this is not relevant to the divorce. And you're going to see for the numbers here that we have calculated an outrageous over 90% of these motions and things that have done in this case had nothing to do with the divorce, had nothing to do with the girls, had nothing to do with the best interest, okay? Had only one purpose. How do you churn out billable hours? By the pound, by the page, by the accusation. So dual purpose to keep abusing this victim, okay, into a state in a frenzy that you hear all over this page what it does to people. It's torture. It's torture. And that's what I'm here. And we're going to have other podcasts talking about all the things that the Word Project's going to do to explain how this complies with the UN's definition of human torture. I mean, stealing somebody's kids, is there anything else that's more mental torture than that? Okay. Yes. Okay. All of this leads, and there's multiple steps here, and we've talked about it. We're going to have multiple podcasts to dissect the different pieces of it. But the main sections of this business model is, okay, taking you down there, establish who's the abuser, who's the one that's going to pay anything to fix it for the kids, then do everything that can be done, knowing you can't get in trouble, to give those kids to that abuser. And then have an onslaught of billable hour fraud, okay, of discussing all these things that have nothing to do with the divorce or the best interest of the kids. And then once you're done taking the amount of billable hours and money during the way, then here's the real wealth hijacking scam. And this is the heart and soul of the Cindy Lynn case. And that is that if you've got the judge on your side, then as you're attacking the target, right, you keep asking for the billable hours to be paid by the target. Okay, you keep saying, this is called stacking, I believe, where throughout the process, it's, oh my God, Cindy is a horrible person. This way, 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 this way. Could you turn the air conditioning up, hon? It's too.
Colder or warmer?
Make it colder, please. Yeah. So you've got this, what's called stacking going on. So it's BS motion after BS motion after BS motion after BS motion, where it is just churning out billable hours. And what does the client? It used to be the client that would be the regulator of last resort. Say, I'm not going to pay for this bunch of BS. Okay, what is all this stuff? Okay, these 5 things have to do with the divorce. What are you talking about? These other 95? You just jacking me for another 50 hours of billable hours? Get the hell out of here! I'm not paying for it. Ah ha ha ha! But when they come and they say, oh no, Josh, you're not going to be the one to have to pay for it. We're going to push it off onto Cindy and Cindy's family, right? But what is stacking is they don't give it away during the process. Oh, no. Call Divine will just ask for it here, ask for it there, ask for it here. And Judge Yar won't rule on it, or the judge won't rule on it. No, I'm contemplating. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet. Cindy Lynn has won nothing out of 1,000 things in this entire case. It has been such a landslide, but oh, no. Judge Yar is not going to rule on it right away. She's contemplating it, because where are we right now? Where are we right now is exactly for the final phase of the scam, ladies and gentlemen. The final phase of the scam is we are waiting right now for Judge Tiffany Yar to rule on this trial that Cindy didn't even go to. Okay, because she knew, number one, it was torture for her to be there. The last time, or one of the last times, she was sent to jail for 45 days. Jail, a mother, a non-criminal, someone who's never been caught or even accused of neglecting or harming her children. Jail for 45 days.
Never even come close to harming my children.
No wonder.
I mean, they were my life.
No wonder, right? So no wonder why she didn't go. All right. And as I told her, I was like, what do you expect? Okay. You think something good is going to happen no matter what. The fix is in. The fix is in. And everybody here knows this. And let me just finish it, and then I'm going to go straight to you, Bibby. Okay? The final stage of this scam is, woe and behold, everybody. Okay? Stop the presses. Hold on. All right? Drum roll, please. Will Tiffany Yar, at the end of all of this right now, actually rule, making her final ruling that because Cindy is the worst human being on the planet, and not only have I ripped her children out of her life completely, but she's such a bad person that guess what? She's got to pay all of the legal bills that Carl Devine has churned out over the beginning of this divorce. The 95% of billing fraud that this case represents. Why not? Pretty good business model if you've got it, right, guys? Pretty good business model, right? Hey, come in here. We'll just sit here and pull shit out of our ass for the next 18 months and just say, Cindy's horrible this way, this way, this way, this way. She went to a T in a road and she made a left instead of a right. What kind of a crazy, irresponsible mother does that, right? Who gives a shit? She's the one paying, right? Or more likely, what they smell is Cindy's family's money, okay? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and especially people of Fayette County, Kentucky, to the family wealth hijacking machine brought to you by Judge Tiffany Yar in connection with co-conspirator Carl Devine and active participant Joshua Bartlett Anderson.
Carl the Crook.
Prove me wrong, okay, and make, now Josh's family's worth, I think, 200 million or something like that. They can certainly cover their own legal bills. Prove us wrong, okay? Whatever you rule, okay, make Josh pay his half and Cindy pay her half, okay? And then you'll really make Dave Weigel look like an idiot, because I'm staking the entire Warrior Project on this. I'm going all in on this bet. We are sitting here waiting for Judge Tiffany Yar to finally rule. Will she show in front of the entire world? Will she complete the family hijacking cycle of stacking? And boom, here comes the balloon bill that Cindy has to pay the entire bill. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Racketeering 2026, okay? Revealed by the Warrior Project. We're not going away. And what we're going to discuss here and is dissect the actual pieces of what she has said publicly and show exactly just the extent of the fraud involved here. Okay, Anna, can you talk for a little bit? I got to wipe off the sweat over here a little bit. Whatever I said wrong, you chime in now. I'm going to wipe this sweat off and I'll have some coffee and I'll be right back.
I like the Carl the Crook comment. The finances, the biggest thing about that is me being asked to pay attorney fees when Carl the Crook is very well informed, as well as everyone else in the court, that our children's medical bills have not been paid. And I feel like that should be priority over attorney bills. The other thing you were talking about before that, what was that?
There's a lot we're talking about. Where the hell is it?
Me not going back to the trial. There was another reason for that. So when we got a GAL, a FOC, all of those orders said that the summaries, evaluations, whatever the proper terminology, like the report, said it would be based on mental evaluations. Well, my mental evaluation was scheduled, I think, 9 days before court. And then we were told it would be multiple appointments. It wasn't going to have the evaluation done in time. So we went to court and asked that they postpone the trial so that way they could have both myself and my co-parents' mental evaluation results and go from there. But they were not willing to let me finish mine. So if they were basing everything on that and my results weren't in, then it felt to me like the decision was already made. if they weren't going to give me that chance to also have the mental evaluation.
And I've been trying to impress upon Cindy, and I'd love for enough people to comment here how many agree with the fact that the results were in months ago. The results were in years ago. It's a business model. Okay. Exactly what I said. And Cindy brings up a great thing here. And we put up a couple of pieces just before talking about, some of the pushback that we've gotten, all right, with my approach of taking this bigger bully approach and saying enough's enough. Okay. These are criminal acts. These are criminals. They should be spoken to as criminals. And we need to step up and not allow this and not allow this. And I'm sorry, but, simply saying that this is, very poor behavior. There's, malfeasance going on is misrepresentation. It's misrepresentation to the audacity, to the magnitude of the crime of this mass child abuse, this mass family terrorism. Right? If I'm up here sitting here talking about this being unacceptable and I'm going to write a letter to this one and this one, people have been doing that 30 years and it's gotten nowhere. So might as well try, something a little bit more brash. It certainly worked. We're known in every family court in the country, and why I've got a big X on my back and have them absolutely I'll come back to my whole story. Right now, what we're looking at is what? Okay. Why don't we bring in Amy and Amy tell us, she was kind enough to put together this timeline here. Let's first go over here. Let's go over the timeline of what. Actually, you know what, guys? Before we get into Cindy's timeline, let's back up a second. All right. What we're being accused of is being a hate group here. All right. Let's first take a look at who we are. Let's take a look at very, very quickly. I'm going to again reiterate exactly what our charter is as the Warrior Project, what the government allows us to do. All right. Please bring up our charter.
When you all look at all this, please keep in mind, family court is about the kids and what's best for the children. They are never mentioned in this.
Okay.
Everything is about the adults.
No, I am looking for our government charter. Okay, the one that comes from our copy of our certificate of incorporation that says the Warrior Project is. Do we have that, Amy? Do you want to come on and tell us whether we have this or not? All right. Earth to Amy. All right, let's bring Amy on. Hello, dear.
Well, hello. I was trying to figure out how to add myself. I thought this is the one you wanted with the bylaws and our 501c3 number from the IRS with the redacted proper information and the bylaws.
The one that says our charter, the one that says that we are a community watchdog organization that is designed and organized to support these victims of the systemic fraud and abuse in the family courts by way of public advocacy, investigative reporting, outreach, and various other community support activities, including healthcare and education activities. I wanted to read that. It's if we got
in our Article 2 of purpose and status on the bottom right-hand corner, it shows we are pro bono support, advocates, education for people harmed by family courts. We promote fairness and accountability.
Okay, fine.
Highlighted portion is.
Okay.
And
it did
our
the job.
charity, this is all of our bylaws for what
Perfect.
we got approved for with what we submitted. That was what I found in our documents.
Fantastic. It wasn't exactly what I asked for, but it does the job. Thank you very, very, very much. Can we move over to the First Amendment? So this is who we are. We are not that guy Dave. We are not a hate group. Okay. We are not exactly what they have to make us out to be. They have to make us out to be. It is factually incorrect. That guy Dave happens to be a 30-year fiduciary on Wall Street, non-criminal.
Just like we talked about with Tiffany Art, conveniently leaving out the word fraud. We're not against family court. We're against family court fraud. We're against abuse. Right. We're against human torture.
Right. And we're going to show you, okay, our actual words of our actual cherry picking of choosing to leave out the term fraud from Family Court Fraud Warrior Project. All right. And calling us an anti-family court. She needs it to be that way. But as a judge, she's not allowed to lie. You're not allowed to lie. I mean, whether you have the discretion to lie or not, that's what this project's about. To let everybody that you know that you're not allowed to lie. Because why are you doing it? You can't be doing it for good reasons. There's no good reason to lie as a judge. Okay? So that's who we are. And what do we do? What are we doing? Can you bring up the First Amendment, Amy? Or Kristen? And before I get into this, guys, I just want to also say, take a look over Amy. She looks phenomenal for a woman who has not slept in 3 days. Okay. Kristen, Freddie, Aaron McFarland. We are these guys have worked probably 30 hours in the last 2 days, putting all of this stuff together. All right. You guys in the community have no idea what troopers these people are. All right. What they face on a daily basis, even in just dealing with me, working for me. That was a joke.
Most of the time we love you dearly.
That was a joke. You were supposed to laugh there, Amy. Okay. You were supposed to laugh.
Most of the time we love you dearly.
Your response said everything. All right. All right.
Some days are easier to love you than others.
We are a family. We are a true family. And we love each other. And I love these ladies and these men that have persevered. And history will remember you guys because you guys are really some of the greatest people on the planet. Okay. The First Amendment, guys. I want to remind everybody just how specifically we are not harassing anyone, how we are not threatening anyone, how we are not stalking anyone, or all the common element that the usual suspects that the criminals are using to try and shut up whistleblowers. This is the First Amendment of the United States. The top law of the land sits above everything. Okay. Congress shall make no law. Okay. Respecting and Amy, does that say no law? Does that say some laws? Does that say laws that circumvent? Or does that say no
there's
law?
No law.
Okay.
And it's all Congress, not just some of Congress.
Yeah. All of Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or profitability or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peacefully assemble. Let's say that again. The right of the people to peacefully assemble. What do you think 22,000 people coming together as members in this community of support, is that exactly peacefully assembling, Amy?
Yes. And okay. I take it a step further that the First Amendment is a responsibility of everybody. If you're not participating in the First Amendment, why?
but then what are we doing? Okay, so we have every right to peacefully assemble. Are we a violent group? Have we
No.
supported violence in any way, shape, or form?
Never.
Have we mentioned more than 30 times that we abhor, we do not
Peacefully and lawfully demanding accountability. That's it.
Okay. Have we come out numerous times to simply say we do not support violence? We abhor violence. We are not about violence. Do not do violence. Violence doesn't work. Violence doesn't help. And we've even said violence is too good for these people. Have we not said that?
We have said absolutely every single one of those things.
Okay. So we're 100% identically here. And now how's the last one? Okay. So we have every right to peacefully assemble. And then now what are we doing? To petition the government for regress of grievances.
That's where we're running into some problems.
Yeah. Okay.
We petition the government and they put a target on your back for knowing.
Is the family court government?
Yes.
Is the New Canaan Police government?
Yes.
Is the Connecticut court, Stanford courts government?
Yes.
Is DFS and CPS government?
Yes.
Is the entire judiciary in Kentucky government?
Yes.
Okay.
Three branches.
We've been pretty hard on the SEC. Is the SEC government?
Yes.
I mean SEC. I'm sorry. The FBI. Is the FBI government?
Yes.
Okay.
They are part of the judicial branch.
Okay. So we are a registered 501c3 government chartered organization that is engaging in the top law of the land to the letter of the effing law. To the letter of the effing law. And what does that make us? Okay, that makes us whistleblowers.
Apparently stalkers, harassers.
Right. So what does that make us really? Okay, is human rights defenders. And you know what? International law has something to say about human rights defenders as well. Okay. I sent you over that little blurb that I wanted to read, and you turned it.
Yeah, and I put it into here so that we could show all of the human rights stuff. But it's basically discussing the Human Rights Convention and the fact that the United States will not participate, and how they are pulling a group together.
My phone. Where's my phone?
There's a thing called the Paris Principles, which is the bare minimum of accountability that a country has to have to prevent human torture. And the United States cannot show that they have any such agency. We have no independent agency that prevents human torture in allegedly the freest country that founded this whole.
But the U.S. still is applied to these laws, okay? Just because they have not been abiding by it, they are still, these laws are still applicable.
The irony of this is that the United States was actually the founder of the Anti-Human Rights Convention, Anti-Human Torture Convention. First one was in New York City in 1986, I believe it was. And now we don't even participate.
Right. Okay, but what I sent you over, okay, was the piece in the
International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights is a binding international treaty that the United States has ratified. It protects fundamental human rights, including the right to life, liberty, and security, freedom of expression, conscience, and religion, freedom of peaceful assembly and association, and the right to a fair trial and equal protection under the law. These rights are universal and these rights are non-negotiable. That was the blurb from what you sent me.
And the Convention Against Torture, all right, the ICERP, the CEDAVV, and the CRC supply the substantive areas in which defenders work. They bind states according to each state's ratification, reservations, and other applicable sources of international law. And they inform international standards even where domestic enforceability is limited. And I'm going to read that again. And they inform international standards even where domestic enforceability is limited. In short, the Declaration is the map, all right? And this is not the definition of a human rights defender that I was hoping to get to.
A human rights defender is anyone who peacefully acts alone or with others to promote, protect, or realize human rights and fundamental freedoms. No specific professional title or training is required. HRDs can be journalists, lawyers, community advocates, or everyday people standing up against local abuse, digital harassment, and systematic injustice.
And digital harassment. Okay. So again, let's just frame this before we get into explaining, and I'm going to bounce out here so we can look at some of these
Someone
other
experienced a little bit of digital harassment. This was just a form of human torture that was
let's bounce over here.
Go far into that, but it's just the fact that you're going to do this and you're going to bring a PTA into it. That's for nothing other than dignity raping, and it's got to stop.
Yeah, and bring it back. I'm not done. Bring it back.
Oh, I thought you didn't want to stay there too long.
I want to point out one thing. Bring it back. Okay, is it should be read, the actual commentary under the stolen picture of Cindy, which you look gorgeous there, by the way.
Thank you. I like that picture.
She is gorgeous. She doesn't just look gorgeous. She is gorgeous.
Thank you, trolls, for getting out of showing the world how gorgeous my fiance is. Nice. You did me a solid. Keep it up. Keep it up. But look at the level of troll scum here. Talking about, hey, look who she is, calling her a web whore or something like that. This is, and we know who did it. This is Joshua Bartlett Anderson doing this to his daughter's mother. Okay. There's no one on the planet. I will come right out. There's no way it's defamation, because
we're just gonna call him Bartlett no matter what, huh?
Bartlett. I don't give a shit. I like fucking up his name. Look at how he's saying. Look how he's saying. Let's get this to everyone. Promoting gang stalking. Just promoting the gang stalking. Try to get your head around just the level of scumbaggery here. The level of. By the way, this is a felony. Okay. All right, we're not showing you the other pictures, but this is a felony, what he's done.
No, and I highlighted a couple of the comments because it's the fact that they're bringing people's children into the text and PTA. Like, this doesn't belong.
Well, I have a friend who is a counselor at a middle school, and I, shared these with her, and I was asking, what's the best approach, and like, how is this handled in schools? Because my children were in kindergarten for like a month at the time, and she said PTA is parents that volunteer, and they would never have anything to do with this. Like, it would be the school who handled it.
Yeah, but just think of who would go through doing that, sending it to the PTA.
Well, and they say they know
we posted a
daughter's
piece on
best friend's name and her mom's name. So I clearly, it's somebody who knows me.
Right.
And
so who knows you, your daughter's name, who knows this information that would do that to you? Only one person.
And it's been happening.
Only one person. Okay.
Since about a year.
And yes, I showed a blurb of
who
it.
employs Joshua Bartlett Anderson? What company employs this guy?
Yeah, and he just got a new job.
Oh, how could you employ Joshua Bartlett Anderson after what you see of the proof on this site? My God.
I really wish human resources was
it doesn't matter. He's been living off mommy and daddy's, like $100-200 million. No wonder why we got a million freaking trolls after us. It buys a lot. All right. So here, all right. Now that we've established, who we really are, all right, and then what we're doing with the First Amendment, and the fact that we're human rights defenders and that have real international protections against the retaliation that we are suffering, and we are putting criminal complaints against these people.
And
we are putting criminal complaints.
That's one message of hundreds. I mean, hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, the evidence that we have, guess what? The international courts want to see all of my evidence. Turns out I'm like the greatest guy ever to put a human rights complaint against the United States. Guy who just comes and starts a movement, has 22,000 people, all this evidence, all these credentials, all this intelligence behind the outing. The proof that the Bar Association is in organized crime. The
if
proof.
you want to see how much legwork went into this, this is just a snippet of the spreadsheets, the analyzation. No one can argue this void rate. No one. I challenge you.
Amy, take him through what you read at the bottom. Take him through the proof the Bar Association is the source of this. This is the greatest regulatory fraud of all times. The Bar Association of the United States in America is the greatest.
Make it big.
It is the greatest regulatory fraud of all times. And the outgrowth, the output of this has been the family court torture system. And what the Warrior Project proves is, without a doubt, the 22,000 victims of this torture system.
The void rate.
We've only begun proving it. We've only begun proving it. We've only scratched the surface. It's on permanent public record. It's backed up on the blockchain. You guys are effed. Okay. You can shoot me, try to make a criminal out all you want. It's already in the cards. You better start looking for spaceship rides to Mars, because the internet is all over this country. All right. And if that's a threat, okay, guess what? It's not a threat. You cannot threaten criminals with "I have caught you being criminals," no matter how emphatic I am when I say it. So, Amy, please take them through the actual bottom line numbers that prove this fraud, please.
Well, it's the void rate is what it all boils down to. And that sentence at the bottom, the void rate is not a bureaucratic inefficiency. It is the measurable expression of a system that has been structured, maintained, and actively defended to ensure that the people harmed by it cannot hold anyone accountable for that harm. And this shows how they insulate themselves from any prosecution whatsoever, any accountability whatsoever.
Let me back up.
Bar has infiltrated every other method of accountability, every other board, every other regulatory agency in this country, and they hold everyone else to a high standard but themselves.
Now, let me just back up a second, okay, and just break it down for the cheap seats. What a 98% void rate means is that for every 100 people that bring themselves to go so far as to write a bar complaint, which means that 900 people wanted to, deserved to, and never got past, okay, stage one of the filtering process, which this analysis also proves that there are four phases to vet out everything. Four phases, six in California.
Started out with four, but then they added two more. We're getting
California's got six. Okay, I'm being conservative. You're always better off with these things, and they're so guilty we can undercut everything. Okay, and be completely in the clear. Let's just say, okay, now what that means is for every 100 people that bring themselves to write a bar complaint, which means there were 900 that deserved to, that wanted to. I never did because I thought it was worthless, right? Still, with those 100, they accept, they invalidate. They say, no, it's not valid. Not valid. 98 of those 100. So of really 900 complaints coming in, 1,000 complaints coming in, they are accepting as valid 2. And the discipline rate on those 2 is even more pathetic. I'll let you guys dig into that yourself. Now, you tell me, that's a regulator? That is someone that's there to protect the public?
That's a plan for financial destruction.
That is a plan for financial destruction. So that's why the retaliation is coming at the Warrior Project, and specifically me, specifically kill the messenger. Because if they can chop off the head of me, they think they're going to chop off the head of the entire Warrior Project. Good luck. The Warrior Project will survive with or without me. I hate to tell you. Okay?
I will post all of these graphics that I have under our Facebook page, under the live feed on the Facebook page, But this basically shows that if you're in the court system for more than 12 months, you're annihilated.
Okay. So I want to get into Cindy's case here. I want to get into getting into now the specifics. Now that we have established the fact that there is a national racketeering system going on in all of these family courts that allow, okay, judges and attorneys to get away with absolutely anything. We have highlighted the Cindy Lynn case as a campaign case because it is the worst of the worst we've seen on so many metrics, but we don't have time to take you through all of it. We're just going to start with what we've exactly heard come out of Tiffany Yar's own mouth, and then work backwards from there to tell you exactly what the real story is and give you some guidance and an education as to how they do it, why they do it, okay, how they work backwards. They start at what they need and work backwards with their lies and their manipulations and their misrepresentations. And just we're gonna get into showing you just piece by piece. Let's go over and take a look at some of Miss Yar's finest public work, mind you. And mind you, okay, thank you to all of our other volunteers for getting us all this stuff. All of this is public information because courts are public. Courts are public for a reason that our First Amendment, that our forefathers have figured out 300 years ago, 250 years ago to be exact, that they knew then this would happen. They knew then and made it the First Amendment. And that's what we're fighting for. Let's take a look at who's trying to piss all over the Constitution and piss all over the
While I didn't listen to the recordings, I've got a lot of concerns about Miss Adams allowing this Dave guy to be in the room or whatever with this insurance company. I don't really understand everything that's going on with that. I don't know if I need to. But our friend Dave is not to be given any access to any of this information from Miss Adams.
How and why? Okay. So, number one, this Dave guy, not this support group, not this registered 501c3 charity, not this absolute right to free speech, absolute right to freedom of assembly, not anything to do with the Constitution, right? Just this Dave guy. Notice how she has to phrase it, this Dave guy. All right. Just she's narrating her own fraud. She's narrating her fraud because she knows this is what destroys her business model. This is what destroys her fraud, her family hijacking fraud system.
She posted these motions in this group.
Well, let's back up a second. We're not finished talking.
That has over.
Hold on. Back up.
Motions.
Back up. We're not finished there, Kristen. We're not finished. Okay. So the first thing that she said was this Dave guy in the room. And then the next thing she said, I don't know that I need to know everything that's going on about it. And then said that he's in the room with this insurance company. All right. Cindy, can we go back, Kristen, to the previous, or just go to the main, okay, on this? All right. Because we're talking about the Dave, we're talking about the Dave in the room with the insurance company. Kristen, Cindy, what's the real story around the Dave in the room with the insurance company?
So Dave was in my house and he was working, in the kitchen in the dining room on his laptop doing, this stuff.
Hold on. Let me back up a second. How did I get to your house? Okay. Just backing up a second is while we've been reviewing all of Cindy's campaign case, we had started to become close and we had started to decide that we wanted to date. Okay. And with everything that was going on, I made a point to fly out there and do both and date her and see where it goes and try and help her figure out this mess. And I was there with her for 9 days, for 9 days. And they had an absolute hissy fit about me being in Kentucky. Might have had something to do with me sending that post saying that the lawyer destroyer is coming to town and all the other bigger bully stuff that I like to throw out there just to try and rattle their cage and see if they do something stupid, which they often do. But that was why I was in Kentucky and why I was in Cindy's house. Okay. And go ahead.
And so I had been trying to get a medical bill paid, and I could not get my co-parent to pay his part. And I just kept getting run in circles. Our court-ordered communication app will show that I had sent all the information, and he said he needed copies of EOBs, just nonsense. So I ended up calling insurance for the second time, and I recorded the call so I could just send it to him and say, hey, you're not hearing this from me. This is the insurance words directly. And then I also called the medical facility and got their words directly. So this recording is like over an hour long. I think it broke into 3 recordings. Less than a minute of that recording, you hear Dave in the background saying, honey, DoorDash needs your
Yeah, let me do it.
because
Yeah,
he had ordered cigarettes.
Yeah, let me say it. Okay. I walk up to her. DoorDash came because we ordered cigarettes. And in Kentucky,
In a snowstorm.
And in Kentucky, you need to show your ID to get DoorDash to give you the cigarettes. She was on the phone with the insurance company. So I came up and said, honey, I need your license. All right. And that was overheard on the call with the insurance companies. So
the call that the judge never listened to. It's
the
actually
call
3
that-
calls.
Yeah, the call that the judge didn't listen to and didn't feel she needed to know anything about it, but say on record that this Dave guy.
Dave's at Cindy's house, and to date, the medical bills and the issue with insurance has never been resolved or addressed.
The real issue of the divorce
That is involved, that focuses on the kids, what
has
the kids need.
never been addressed. The kids are special needs, have been to 814 doctor's visits she took them to before Judge Tiffany Yar ripped them out of their mother's arms.
Actually, 1,024.
Okay, 814 at that time. Okay, or maybe, all right, whatever I was looking at. It's a conservative estimate. All right, it gets the point across. All right, he went to what, 8, 10? All right,
It was less than 10.
those
It was about
numbers
5.
speak volumes, and nothing will ever change those numbers. But notice the fraud. Notice how the real issue, the divorce issue, special needs kids have healthcare costs. Cindy paid all of them. She's normally going to the court to affect what they should be doing, saying, hey, both parents should be paying for this, at least, or at least addressing it, not morphing it into this Dave guy in the room with the insurance company. Notice the jump from the real issue to the fraud.
And this is a reoccurring theme over and over. So medical bills were an issue, and it's the main reason that I ever went back to court was to try to get reimbursement on those. And a billing protocol was put in place, and that still hasn't been followed. I mean, it's just baffling to me. And now anytime something like this comes up, instead of addressing the main issue of this medical bill needs paid or the insurance company
it morphs to Cindy being a horrific human being in 2 seconds, but it's not coming from Call Divine. It's coming directly from the judge.
It's coming from both.
It's
Divine and the judge.
It's like I said, that's one and the same. All right. In fact, let's look at that. Okay. Let's look at that. Do we have the piece, guys, of the judge talking about exactly what Call Divine writes? And
she posted these motions
I didn't even
in this group that has over 11,000 people in it or so. She posted medical records. She posted close communications with Mr. Anderson. All of it had significant personal information. Now, I know that this is a public record case, and I know that those records, if they're filed into this case, they are accessible. But you've got a whole pack of people that all believe that they have been wronged, and you're riling them up with the doctor's name, with your children's name, with everything. And that is so dangerous. It is absolutely so dangerous. And everybody can roll their eyes at that. But again, this is evidence to me that she is disconnected from the reality of the situation.
She's dead. Okay. All right. Amy, you want to read this? Or no, I could do this. Okay. Statement. Okay. I can't see the whole. I can try to read the whole thing here. Okay. So this is item 8 on the exact motion submitted by Call Divine. Cindy's statements reflect a significant disconnect from reality, a lack of insight, a refusal to take responsibility, and a refusal to accept her inappropriate actions. What inappropriate actions? Going public? Okay. Her videos and posts reflect that Cindy believes that she is a victim in this process, and somehow, unbelievably, that the court and the undersigned and Joshua are responsible and at fault for this position which she finds herself in. This is not exactly what I'm talking about. What we're talking about is the other piece that explains. Oh, no, that's it. I think that is it. Is this one? Cindy's been making posts. Okay, in the family court fraud warrior. She further asserts actions. No, I think that was it. Okay. But how she says right in there, I didn't see the videos. I don't know that I need to, right? But talking about, okay, now let's talk about the lies. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's go over to the AI read, okay, of why is she saying this about Cindy? Okay, about her First Amendment right. Why is she specifically talking
Here, the
about
judge admits on the record that she did not listen to the recordings that supposedly justify her concerns. Yet she still issues an order stripping Dave of access to information. Judges are required to base their decisions on the evidence actually before them and to decide cases impartially and competently, not on assumptions or secondhand impressions. Issuing a restrictive order while openly admitting she never reviewed the key recordings appears arbitrary and inconsistent with her duty to administer justice according to law and the evidence. The record that she did not
move it back. Okay, let's move it back. Very good. Okay, what we're talking about here, guys, is we're talking about what a judge actually needs to do to actually issue a valid gag order. Okay, a valid gag order in family court has to be narrowly tailored. Okay, what people must be disclosing is personal identification information. Hey, my child's name is this. They live at this address. Go and get them right now. That's what it is meant to protect. Okay, the things that both me and Cindy posted didn't do anything to increase the risk of harm to those children. You have to be out of your mind. Okay. I posted the list of 814 doctor's visits that they say now is over 1,000, but on the piece that I had when I visited Cindy, all right, I printed out 5 different pages. And all it showed, and I asked us to get that ready, but I don't think that we had time for it. We'll post it to the comment section. It was a previous post that I put up, one of my first major ones, where I showed the list of what 814 doctor's appointments looks like. All right, what does it look like actually written out over 5 pages, just from a visual standpoint? to give you an idea of what this mother did to will these girls' health back to full health, right? It's very important from visual. I mean, humans learn visually, right? So I laid out all 5 of those. Now, it says dates, maybe the girl's name and the doctor's name, and maybe the facility. How does that, how does that information increase the girls? Someone's going to sit there and say, I've been following this case and I'm so enraged. Look, if a maniac, I mean, there's a billion kids on TikTok posting a heck of a lot more than that every single day. If you're going to sit there and say that simply the name of a child, mind you, every time we mention their names, those are their middle names, by the way. All right. And a date and a doctor's name, I'm sorry. That is not grave danger to justify seizing someone's First Amendment right. That is a move from a criminal looking to protect her organized crime. That's what that is. Now, we have on here the actual filing that what she was specifically talking about, what Cindy posted back in December that she's referring to, and Cindy whited out all personal information. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. At close communications. Okay, text messages to actually show Josh Bartley Anderson's crimes, right? That the judge is not doing anything about. The felony of the smearing, the shoving a bunch of stolen pictures off of her phone from 20 years ago that was just made a felony that the judge won't even hear or address, where she has no choice but now go public about this, say this judge is not doing anything about this. This is increasing the kids. Let me ask you something. Is removing them from 28 doctors, 5 medical facilities, 4 therapists, to a guy who had his liver replaced 9 hours away, does that increase the risk of those children? Yeah. Okay. Does transferring the girls to a guy who refused to be trained on how to deal with his own daughter's G-tube? Yes, that increases the children's risks to their lives. Is refusing to let us or Cindy's family know who's watching the girls. Are they properly trained? Does that increase the risk of these children? Yes. Any moron knows. Does simply posting the proof the judge and the attorney are in cahoots for a scam that the Warrior Project has proven is going on everywhere in this country? No, that does not increase the risk to the kids. That serves the kids. That gives them a chance to be protected one day, to get them out of this sphere of corruption that may be the end of them, as it's the end of many people in this world. Okay. So we'll let you guys, we'll post the actual 814, the 5 pages that I posted previously to the comments section later, because we don't have this available right now. All right. And do we have Cindy's December posting that she was referencing? Amy?
I don't know if you can.
Amy, Kristen, do we have Cindy's
I
posting
believe
from December?
everything from that was in that one filing, but we could not find the actual post because it disappeared when Cindy deleted her Facebook. Remember when they made her delete it and it was deleted for like 3 days? That post is now empty, and we
Okay.
could not find where Danny backed it up.
The motion with the screenshots of it.
Cindy will find it and send it to you guys again. We're going to post it to the comment section. All right. We're going to post it to the comment section so that the evidence file here will be complete. Anyone will be able to look and see.
She posted these motions
in
this group.
Guys, don't put on a video when I'm in my mid-sentence, please.
I didn't know that it was going to start playing because I thought in this motion, if you go through, it shows all of everything that they're claiming to be? They
that
also
they're
talk
that they are claiming. What we need to be proving and showing is the actual
well, they
post.
screenshotted it
Right.
and attached it as an exhibit.
That's right. Okay. That we will get over and we will post, and we're going to move on from this. We're going to post it in the comments so long as the file is complete. We're going to post the two things that Judge Yar is talking about now. Right now, she's saying that this is so dangerous. It is so dangerous what Cindy has done. Okay, meaning Cindy and Dave. All right. And you're going to see right there that the things that we posted, it is asinine to believe that those. Why did she do it? Why is she talking about that? Because she needs it to be that. That's the narrow tailoring. All right. The information that we're producing, that we've published, has to endanger the girl. So she's just pretending that that's a logical, coherent statement, what you just said. Just like ordering leggings means she's lost reality with life and she deserves her kids to be stolen. Now, this is why the Warrior Projects exists, people, okay? Because in those four walls, this lunacy stands. This lunacy stands, and this business model happens every single day, and people are abused and destroyed every single day. Every single day. And I would love people to comment here about how many times you have seen this business model unfold, where the target is the one paying for their abusers, right? All right. Call Divine, this is his business model, right? Hey, listen, don't worry about how much I'm churning out. Okay, motion after motion after motion. You're not going to pay for it. We're going to put it on her. We're going to put it. I got the jacket, right? We're all on the same team. Now it's called stacking. I'm going to ask for it, all right, as the case is going along. I'm going to say, no, on this one too. And by the way, Cindy has to pay for my medical, my legal bills. And the judge just doesn't rule on it. Why? Doesn't want to give it away right away, right? They wait to the end, and then there's a balloon payment at the end. Boom. By the way, final judgment. You've lost the case. You've lost custody of your children. And by the way, you're such a horrible person. You have to pay for everything. Boom, done. Family terrorism, wealth hijacking model completed. Will Tiffany Yar complete the cycle? Will she do it? Will Tiffany Yar do this? Will she do it in broad daylight? Where now that we've called it out ahead of time, will she come out and finish the cycle that we have called out and we have shown and 1,000 times, and we're going to prove 1,000 times more, this is how the money is made. This is the playbook. This is the family terrorism playbook. This is the torture playbook. And this is why we're going to the international courts to put criminal charges on these people. And guess what? I've got a lot of open ears over here. There's a lot of people that know what's going on and are not part of the seized up system in the United States. A lot of pissed off people that are more than happy to hear what good of an advocate, what good of a poster child for this endeavor, this criminal defense that is coming. All right. What else do we have to close this up and show the extent of the fraud in the Tiffany Yar case? What other pieces have we not shown compared to what's the other that's not all Tiffany Yar said in the last two Kristen pieces? So what else do we have that Tiffany Yar said?
While I didn't listen to the recordings, I've got a lot of concerns about Miss Adams allowing this Dave guy to be in the room or whatever with this insurance company. I don't really understand everything that's going on with that. I don't know if I need to. But our friend Dave is not to be given any access to any of this information from Miss.
Okay, I think we touched on that. What was the other video piece that was part of Kristen's last video that we did that we talked about?
Well, let's just say too, like this Dave guy is my fiance. So why would I not like share, ups and downs with him? I mean, that's just absurd.
But just
to
the
request of me.
absurdity in the Constitution, right? Like she's already ordered.
I've been told I have to choose between him or my kids.
Say
Like
that again.
The three people I love the most in the world, I've been told I have to choose between Dave and my children. I'm told that if I leave Dave, I can have supervised visits with my children.
Yeah.
But I've done nothing to warrant supervised visits. I mean, these girls are alive today because of me.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And just in like we've had like honestly a beautiful love story, right? A beautiful love story, the way we've come together.
To be able to fall in love during like all this chaos and like love someone at their worst. It's just crazy. This is the timeline of the amount of time Josh has spent with the girls.
Yeah.
So 2023, he only saw them one time. It was for one of our daughter's surgeries.
What the hell is that
and
that
he
we're
spent
looking
the
at?
whole time in the waiting room. He only spent like 20 minutes with the kids.
Yeah.
And then he put that I missed an appointment on that same date for the other daughter's therapy and complained that the caregiver did it over Zoom, but he was in town. I was in town. We're in the waiting room. Should our other daughter just not have done therapy, considering her caregiver of 5 years, considered family, was there to do it on telehealth with her?
Yep.
But that's the only time you saw the girls that entire year.
That one
asked anything.
That one piece that was up, was to show what I've asked the team to put together, and they only had so much that they could get together. This is the last time. No, we can't hear Kristen. I could put you on.
2 weeks total. I mean, if you count the days, if you count the hours, it's less than a week in 4 years.
Yeah. So what I've asked the team to put together is originally backing up. We have
Dave, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the one where it was only highlighted in one part of the document.
Yep.
That was the one you're talking about, where she's reading or she's saying exactly what Carl Devine put in the motion. She's like reading it word for word. What he
right.
Has,
I know we just didn't show the actual part of that video of her saying that. I didn't think.
Yeah, it played, but we can play it again right now. I'll do it right now.
Hold on. Okay, but just let me finish. Okay.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, now I completely forgot my freaking train of thought here.
This is what she says.
Okay.
She uses Carl Devine's words when there's evidence.
Right. What I was hoping, is to. Okay, I know. We let me see if I can read Carl Devine's actual. You guys
Right there.
No?
The first sentence here, Cindy's statement reflects a significant disconnect from reality.
Right, but he said a lot more, okay? The one that I sent you, dear, was the one where she was specifically talking about how she was doing the what was it? The posting. She was posting at close communications. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. Let's just back out. We were talking about the other thing here. Now let's just finish that conversation. You don't have to. You did a great job, Kristen. Okay, in the last 2 days, there was a lot to get together in this case here.
I think we got the point across.
You did a great job. You guys did a great job. Okay. And we are going to just post the actual evidence that I asked for. Okay. Below, but in the comment section. That's what we do here. These things are digital files. Okay. For your digital case. All right. And everything that we talk about here, we're here for truth and transparency, but we're here to prove what we are saying is true and prove that when we're calling people liars, we're showing them, okay, showing the proof that they are in fact liars. Okay. So what we had talked about, all right, was Dave in a room with an insurance company was not the case. Okay. That as you would have to sit there and think, how can I possibly formulate words to sound as horrible as possible that somewhat resembles what could have been what went on versus what the actual reality was. We did that part. Okay. We also explained the backstory of that. We talked about what you're talking about, how she's posting at close communications and doctor's information and the school. Okay. What I'd like to show is the proof that she didn't do that. Okay. Cindy has got that proof. We're going to post it to what Cindy posted in December. All right. You'll see what she redacted. And there's no information there that is dangerous to the girls in any way. And we're going to post what I asked before, pulling up the 5 pieces of the 5 pages that show the 814, okay, doctor's appointments that I counted at that time, all right, that show information that is in no way dangerous to the children. And then the AI read, okay, which was supposed to be the part of Kristen's last video that had the words going down. All right. The words going down, outlining exactly what the judge has to do to make a legal gag order, talking about the actual law of where a gag order is legal in the family court. Has to be narrowly tailored, has to provide imminent danger to the child. Okay. We need that. Okay. As being the evidence. Okay. Please write this stuff down, guys. Okay. And that needs to be posted to the comment section. Now, there was another part of your last video. You did 2 pieces. Okay. There was Tiffany Yard talking in one respect and Tiffany Yard talking in another one. And it was another concept that we haven't gotten to yet. What are we missing?
Thank you, Colorado creatures. That is my biggest issue with this case. Is nothing is about the children. It's just all about the adults bickering.
That's what we're having our AI system, and that's a great way to introduce our next step. We are weeks away from our AI stack. We are using the Cindy Lynn case as our test for this system, where we feed in every single document related to the courts of somebody's case. And we send it through an AI stack of 3 different AI systems. And we ask automatically 20 of the most important questions related to that particular case and 20 of the most important questions related to how this case reflects the industry of this national racketeering system that we've exposed. So showing how in line it is with the playbook of this organized fraud. All right. And also the most important information or 20 questions. And we're going to have a system set up where we can't pay for everything. If they want to ask more questions about their case, they're going to be able to do that on some sort of a pay basis, because everything with AI is how much data you're using and pulling down. And believe me, guys, I'm spending as much as I can on this thing. I can give you the basics of this stuff, but there is going to be some additional stuff. And again, we're also not big on trying to tell you how you can win within the courts anyway. All right. We're talking about how do you get this information that is the most ironclad smoking gun evidence that you could put on permanent public record to, no matter what, set the record straight for what the differences between who you've been made out to be in these courts versus who you actually are. All right. So listen, it's, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning where we are. Okay.
Thank you, Frank.
We are here. Okay. Still falling in love. No, she has not hijacked me. I want to be clear here. There's been some rumors that Cindy, for the people that know her, know that she could be a little difficult. And I'll blink like this if I need help. Okay, everyone. All right. If I really need help, I'll do
She can be difficult.
I'll do something like that.
She
All right.
can be difficult.
Whoa,
Wait a
hold
minute.
on. Hold on. The peanut gallery. Hold on. Don't I get to shut down the peanut gallery here? Hold on.
I'll shut myself down. I didn't want to be
Jeez.
on camera anyway. I look hideous.
No, we try to laugh so we don't cry. This is torture. What Cindy's been through is use common sense. Okay. You go through, I'm not a mother. I never pushed out a baby out of me. But I can imagine that that's a level of bond that is divine. Okay. And then to have sick kids, I've always knocked wood, and every time I say I think my life is shit, the first gratitude I always mention is thank God my kids are healthy. It's always my first gratitude, and to know what she's been through. That's why I fell in love with her. I mean, one of the reasons that level of strength. This is somebody that didn't necessarily want to be a mother, didn't necessarily want to get married, pretty independent woman. And when she was tasked with that task to be a mother, she stepped up, and it warms my heart. As I walked through her house the very first day, I took a couple of pictures that I thought were jump off the page statistics. I saw all the shoes lined up as I first walked in the foyer, and the organization to how she had everything set up for her little girls. And then I walked through, and then I saw another. I took a picture of that, and then I took a picture of. I went and I looked on one of these coffee tables inside her living room, and she had these little flashcards, set up for teaching the girls how to know what things are. All right. And it just struck me deep as well. And then the third thing that I saw as I went into her office, and I saw the abuse that she was under. I saw the mountains of folders and 3-ring binders and files of the billing fraud in her case, the organized billing fraud in the case. And me having the experience and the knowledge that I have, sitting there looking at it and saying, maybe 2% of that shit has to do with the girls, has to do with the actual case. The rest of it is organized billing fraud that we've proven. The only question is whether Tiffany Yar is going to complete the cycle in front of the whole world. Are you going to do it? Come on. It's your money. It's your money. Do it. With that, we're going to sign off. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being a part of everything. And please stay with us. This is
lovely to connect with all of you all.